This is obviously about to affect a ton of people, but if you know anybody that shops at any of these stores, which includes Target, Aldi's, Kroger, Walmart, and Dollar General, you're gonna want to watch this video.
I'm back, it's your boy FITTITE, and today we're taking a look at these TikTok videos. If you guys like the chain, check the link down in the description. Let's try to get to 2,000 likes this video. I usually ask for 1K, but like I've been hitting 1,000 consistently, and I'm pretty sure if you just like the video, we can easily get to 2,000 likes. It also says that 75% of you guys are not subscribed, so make sure to subscribe. We're gonna be taking a look at way more than just TikToks on this channel.
This is my own personal theory.
Yeah.
So there is gonna be a season 2, and it's gonna be Jihan, the cop, and Saebyuk's little brother, who's gonna go back and dismantle the game. Okay, so here's why. So you brought it up. The cop got shot in the shoulder on purpose by his brother, just so they can save him later and he can go back to the game.
Yeah.
Right? So there was a scene where the worker's mask, remember, got taken off and he got shot. I'm thinking that all the workers are young kids that they took from orphanages and just raised them to be like this robotic person, right? So I'm thinking Saebyuk's little brother, they're gonna take him and they're gonna make him a staff.
Oh, they're gonna recruit them.
Yeah, and he's gonna help Jihan, the main character.
Yeah.
Because he's like, do you know where my sister is? And they're gonna go into battle together in this season 2.
Interesting. Well, but the kid's kind of young. That's the only thing. The kid's kind of young.
I know they might be like, yo, 17 years later.
But I heard this crazy theory.
Honestly, Squid Games 2 comes out, I think, like what, in a month and a half? I would not doubt his theory on that. I personally like the first Squid Games.
This is obviously about to affect a ton of people, but if you know anybody that shops at any of these stores, which includes Target, Aldi's, Kroger, Walmart, and Dollar General, you're gonna want to watch this video. So if you know anybody that shops at any of those stores, there is a massive nationwide warning that's happening right now because of a food recall. They're currently saying that there's more than 20 different food products from a bunch of different stores that's being recalled over a dangerous bacteria, and the list is massive. Now, some of these products are being recalled for listeria, and then others are being recalled for E. coli, and some of them are salmonella, and then some of them are mold contamination, and then the others are potential presence of foreign objects. Now, like I said in the beginning of the video, there are a ton of different stores, including Walmart, Target, Kroger, Aldi's, Dollar General, a bunch of gas stations, and then this is the first part of the list if you want to pause and read to make sure that you don't have any of these, and then this is the second part of the list if you want to make sure you don't have these, and then this is the third part of the list, and then this is the fourth part of the list, and then this is the last part of the list. Obviously, there's a ton of food that was recalled. If you were able to pause and read all of those, obviously don't eat it, return it, get a refund, throw it away. I give you these news roundups every day, so make sure you add me and come back to me tomorrow.
What's going on with all these food recalls? There was a waffle recall last week. McDonald's had an E. coli outbreak, and now Walmart, Target, Aldi, and those other stores have another outbreak. I'm pretty sure someone watching this video has shopped at Walmart or Target in the last 2 weeks. Those are like the most shopped stores in the US. So the fact they have an outbreak, in my opinion, is crazy. So honestly, I would go back in the video, pause it, and if you bought any of those items and you feel any sort of weird symptoms, I would say go to the doctor.
Insane facts about your eyes you never knew. Blue eyes are the result of a genetic mutation that occurred in Europe 10,000 years ago. The rarest eye color in the world is green. Only 2% of people have them. Your eyes can detect over 10 million different colors. You'll blink over 630 million times in your life.
There's some kids who won Halloween. This little boy went as his grandpa, and that has to be the cutest thing I've ever seen. But it goes hand in hand with this little girl who went as her grandma. And this kid nailed his Russell costume from Up. This little girl and her dog totally won Halloween. Beauty and her Beast. And this kid went as the Stanley Cup. And here we have a little Beetlejuice. This kid went as a jet, and honestly, this costume is pretty cool. This little guy went as a toy soldier. And this kid as the gingerbread man is so iconic. And here we have the Squid Games girl. And this baby as Oscar the Grouch has made my entire day.
This is why you should always lock your doors as soon as you get home.
5:30.
There's a guy outside. Look.
The police was called and the man was left alone after his family explains he just has mental problems.
This man tried opening the door. Can you imagine what would have happened if that door was unlocked?
Yo, I have a couple of friends that do not lock their doors when they get inside. I'm like, dude, anyone at any moment could literally just walk into your house. Like, that's scary.
How rare is your body? Only 5% of people in the world can lick their elbow. Red hair is the rarest hair color in the world, and only about 2% of people have it. Next is the double row of eyelashes. Only about 1% of people have this, and it actually causes them to cry more. Only 5% of people have this extra hole near their ear, and it's actually proof that humans once had gills. And if you have 2 different colored eyes, you are super rare because only 0.1% of people have this.
If you have 2 different color eyes, drop it in the comments. I want to see how many people that have different color eyes watch my videos, if there's even any.
The craziest torture methods ever, part 29, the bastinado, dating back to 1537 in Europe and 960 in China. Literally the act of beating the shit out of somebody's feet, typically performed with canes or sticks. They made sure to avoid the bone structure of the ball and heel. They went straight for that soft tenderloin meat right in the middle. That.
These 3 kids are pure evil. In 1966, in the southwestern town of Greenwich, Connecticut, there were 3 ill-tempered kids, Damien, Caleb, and Axel. The townspeople called them the Little Satans. From the age of 5, the Little Satans began to show a cruel side, frequently capturing small animals in the town's woods. The other kids in town were terrified and kept their distance. However, the parents of these 3 believed it was just harmless childhood mischief. Most townspeople chose to stay silent, fearing retaliation from these wealthy and influential families. But the Little Satans' behavior became increasingly brazen. One day, a few children from town went missing, and the last time anyone saw them, they were with the Little Satans. Yet, due to a lack of direct evidence, the local police were unable to launch a deeper investigation. One officer, Marcus Hayes, refused to give up. He kept investigating quietly, watching the 3 families day after day. Then, one night, all the Little Satans' parents gathered together, and Marcus sensed that something was wrong. He immediately called for backup, and they eventually discovered a hidden basement. Inside, they found the missing children from town. As Marcus dug deeper into the case, he uncovered something even more terrifying. Do you want to know what Marcus found? Comment Little Satans to watch part 2. These 3 kids were pure evil. In 1966, in the southwestern town of Greenwich, Connecticut, there were 3 children known as the Little Satans, Damien, Caleb, and Axel. People in town were too afraid to confront the out-of-control Little Satans, fearful of offending their wealthy and powerful families. However, local police officer Marcus Hayes suspected that the Little Satans were connected to the disappearance of several children in town. Eventually, Marcus, along with a few officers, found the missing children in a hidden basement. But Marcus didn't relax. He sensed that something even more terrifying was lurking in the basement. He carefully scanned the room and noticed strange symbols carved into the walls, some of which resembled ancient spells. On a table, there was a worn wooden box containing several yellowed diaries and a rusty knife. On the last page of one diary, it read, "The being we summoned is about to arrive. It promised us that as long as we offer more gifts, it will grant us eternal power." Those gifts were the missing children. Suddenly, Damien, Caleb, and Axel, who had been lying unconscious nearby, all stood up with eerie smiles on their faces. In unison, they spoke in a low, chilling voice. "Did you think catching us would end this?" Marcus realized what was happening and shouted, "We have to get out of here." Comment Little Satans 3 to keep following.
Scariest urban legend from each state, Part 1. Slaughter Canyon in Arizona. A family lived down in the canyon in the 1800s. The husband would always go into the mountains and try and find food for his family. One day, the husband never came back. The family was starving. The wife went crazy and killed her children. To this day, you can still hear the wife crying for forgiveness around the area.
Fun fact, while many people have a fear of flying, they should have a fear of driving. Statistically, if you lived through the drive to the airport, you've already survived the most dangerous part of your journey for the day until you get back into a car when you arrive at your destination. The chances of getting into a deadly plane crash on a large commercial airplane are around 1 in 13 million, but your chances of getting into a deadly car crash are around 1 in 100.
You know, that's crazy he said that, because that's literally what I think about every time I'm about to get on a plane. I'll just be like, dude, the car ride here was way more dangerous than the actual plane flight itself.
The food facts you didn't know. Studies show dark chocolate can actually make you smarter. Bananas are classified as berries, but strawberries are not. Honey never expires. They found pots of honey in old ancient Egyptian tombs that are still edible. Carrots weren't originally orange, they were originally purple.
If carrots are originally purple, how the hell are they orange now?
Here are moments of regret that were caught on camera. This one guy thought it would be funny to fool around at his local water park by hiding in one of the slides until the park closed. However, he forgot the fact that when the park closes, someone comes by to lock up the exit to the slide. And this happened exactly where he was hiding, and he was locked up, and his imprisonment was caught on camera. Next, during a heavy flood in his local city, a man tried taking a risk and drove straight into a giant body of water. Not only did this damage his car, but also his dignity, because people nearby were recording and roasting him. Next, this Canadian TikToker was trying to make her cousin laugh, and she succeeded, but it ended with her having a harmonica stuck in her jaw. In the video, which she chose to upload, you can see her panicking and breathing through the instrument, sounding like Thomas the Tank Engine. And finally, this lady saw a punching bag at her local arcade and tried to take a swing at it, only for her aim to be so off that she ended up hitting herself. She then saw that she was being recorded by her friend, flipped him off, and then immediately slipped and fell. I think at this point you have to move countries.
3 ways to survive Jeff the Killer. Number 1. If you see a boy holding a knife at the edge of the woods, don't go near him and run the opposite way. Jeff is extremely strong and fast. Once you get too close, it's already too late. Number 2. Don't ever go looking for Jeff. Looking for him is an extremely bad idea, being so that he's extremely sick and twisted, and he'll probably do things that you wouldn't like being done to you, so looking for him shouldn't be on your list. Number 3. Don't ever make waffles past midnight, being so that Jeff is extremely obsessed with them. He loves waffles, and once he gets that scent, he'll walk towards them, ending up in your kitchen with a knife. Like and follow for more video.
Honestly, I think I'm gonna just make waffles past 12 just because he said not to.
Scroll now or lose your innocence. So fun fact, deer actually like the taste of meat, but don't have the hardware to do anything about it. At least not to anything that's still alive. Yeah, I'd be shocked too. So you're looking at a deer taste testing a cat. Nah, I'm just playing. It's salt. We take it for granted because we can put salt on anything, but wild animals, they gotta get it out the mud. No, like literally, they get creative, and sometimes creative means a mouthful of soil. Sometimes elephants will go into caves just to lick salt off the walls. Yeah, you heard me. Elephants be splunking. And if you're a moose, you might just lick the salt off a car. Probably not great for insurance, car, health, life. A salt-feeding branch tank will wreck all 3. And it might not be a cunning linguist, but best believe a deer will lick a cat clean. Butterflies taste with their feet, and they're attracted to the salt in our sweat. So a butterfly landing on you is taste testing your salt-seasoned skin, and that is no joke. They'll also go out of their way to irritate the eyes of other animals to force them to cry just so they can drink the tears. Yeah, it ain't sweet. Salt can kill you in more ways than high blood pressure. Amazon animals often use clay licks called colpas to add a little salt into their lives, which can get cut brutally short since jaguars will stalk clay licks knowing someone's gonna get got eventually. And deer using salt licks can spread chronic wasting disease. And if you don't know, CWD is death with busy work. And then you got that time mountain goats got addicted to the salt in human urine. And when I say addicted, they had to give them the Aerovag. Those goats were craving that mineral at all costs. Moral of the story, I don't think there is one. I don't even remember how we got here. So something about cats?
Mountain goats are always so interesting to me. I'd be like, dude, aren't they scared to fall off? Because like sometimes they'd be on like the edge, like the literal edge of the mountain, like they're about to like just drop at any moment. I'm just like, dude, how did they even get there in the first place?
Times when companies dissed others, part 5. In 2009, Domino's ran an advertisement saying that in a blind test, their sandwiches beat Subway's 2-1. Well, Subway then solved this and sent a letter to Domino's demanding that they pull their ads from air. Well, Domino's replied with this commercial.
Domino's oven-baked sandwiches beat the taste of Subway's 2-1. Then Subway's lawyers sent us this letter demanding we pull our commercials off the air. I was gonna burn the letter, but everything's better when it's oven-baked.
Next, in 2016, a Burger King in New York covered its entire building with white sheets and dressed up as the ghost of McDonald's, saying that McDonald's was the scariest Halloween costume they could wear. And they also recorded this ad where everybody was just screaming at the building. McDonald's response was, who wouldn't want to pretend to be us?
Weirdest kids' toys ever, part 16. Now this product isn't actually a toy, but it was designed for kids. Wonder Woman safety scissors. These are 100% real and from the late 70s. What were they thinking? I mean, just look at that spread.
Who is the weakest horror movie character on this list? You have Leatherface, Michael Myers, Pennywise, Freddy Krueger, Pinhead, and Jason. Now, as we can all agree, Jason's getting knocked off the list already, because he's the strongest, as we all know. We're now left with Leatherface, Michael Myers, Pennywise, Freddy Krueger, and Pinhead. Leatherface is pretty strong, don't get me wrong, but if he went one-on-one with any of these characters besides Pennywise, I think he's getting clapped. I think him versus Pennywise would be an actually pretty good fight. Yes, Pennywise is a demon, and Leatherface is a cannibalistic human that runs around with a chainsaw, but still, I think it would be a good fight. Then on the other hand, if you have Pennywise fight any of these other characters, Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, Pinhead, and Jason, Pennywise is getting packed up. So I feel like it's only fair that Michael Myers gets off the list. Michael Myers is packing up all of these characters besides Jason, making him the second strongest. And then for shits and giggles, I'm taking Pinhead off as well, because Pinhead is extremely powerful. As soon as you open that cube, you're wraps. Those chains come out of nowhere, it is chalked for you. Then I'm taking off Freddy Krueger, because let's be honest, Leatherface versus Freddy Krueger, Leatherface getting packed up. Freddy Krueger versus Pennywise, Pennywise getting packed up. So now the two weakest in my opinion is Leatherface and Pennywise. And if those two fought it out, I really and truly think Leatherface is winning. No holds barred. Pennywise is a fraud. Ain't that scary and ain't that strong. Don't forget to like and follow for more and comment down below what you think.
Soldier lost his life for dating a transgender woman. On July 6 of 1999, a group of soldiers who were stationed at Fort Campbell Army Base in Kentucky drove to downtown Nashville to go to a transgender club/bar called The Connection. One of the soldiers, 21-year-old Barry Winchell, met a transgender dancer, Calpurnia Adams, at the club. The two hit it off, exchanged numbers, and started dating. One of the soldiers, Justin Fisher, started gossiping with other soldiers that Barry was dating a transgender woman. With this information, the soldiers were taunting, teasing, and calling Barry derogatory and vulgar names. Barry reported this to his superiors, but they basically just brushed it off. By the 4th of July weekend, Barry was just getting fed up with everything. Barry and another soldier named Calvin Glover end up getting into a physical altercation. Barry ends up winning that altercation, and the other soldiers are now making fun of Calvin for losing the fight, and he knew that he had something to prove to those soldiers. Calvin went to Justin's locker and retrieved a baseball bat, and while Barry was asleep, he struck him in the head and neck multiple times. Barry was transported to Vanderbilt University Medical Center in Nashville, Tennessee, where he died from massive head injuries. Calvin was arrested and accepted a plea deal for murder. Calvin claimed that he didn't mean to unalive Barry, that he must have just been too drunk. Justin was also arrested and sentenced to 12.5 years in prison. As for Calvin, he was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole. Justin was released on October of 2006, and Calvin was released on parole on August 27th of 2020.
Yo, that's such a lame excuse. Oh, you know, I was just too drunk, so I just murdered him.
This Russian engineer has just spent the last 6 years in his garage creating a real-life Iron Man suit. And this is not some little fun gimmick. Bro has literally invented certain elements specifically for this suit, like hydrogen artificial muscles. You see those wires? They are connected to his muscles, so when he flexes, the suit moves with him. And it only gets crazier because he created a real plasma repulsor that creates such a quick hydrogen explosion that it can't even be captured on his camera. And just like the entire Iron Man suit is powered by Tony Stark's chest piece, RIP to a real one, so is this suit. He created the world's first fully functional personal hydrogen reactor that powers those plasma shots, the artificial muscles, and even this. Real hand burners that can reach temperatures of over 3,000 degrees Celsius. He made it by creating an electrolyzer that splits water into hydrogen and oxygen, which are then combined and ignited to produce the torch's flame. And the hardest part about this is creating a really powerful continuous torch, while also preventing it from blowing out, overheating, and just burning his hand off. So he casually solved this by designing a system with multiple nozzles and then added an inbuilt cooling system. Bro is literally Tony Stark at this point. Now he's currently working on the outer layer of this suit, which has taken him several months just to create the head and torso. Because he didn't just pick up the first material and get cracking. He has designed every element of this suit to fit his body perfectly, which is painstaking. He went from pencil sketches to creating an entire clay model. He then used high-resolution 3D scanning to create a precise digital copy. He 3D printed those parts separately, strength-tested countless materials, and then reinforced those pieces with Kevlar and carbon fiber. He even wrote and played the music he uses in the background of his videos. Oh, and he also holds the Guinness World Record for the world's first retractable lightsaber. And after 6 years, he's getting close. So the question is, which will be complete first? GTA 6 or a real-life Iron Man suit.
Honestly, I'll take the real life Iron Man suit before GTA 6. I feel like it's gonna happen before GTA 6. GTA 6 never coming out, I swear to God. But that's cool as hell. Iron Man is my favorite Avenger personally, so the fact that he's doing that is amazing. I swear to God, if we give someone like that $1 billion, the guy could probably create like flying cars, if I'm being honest.
Fun fact. Multiple people have been reporting that their robot vacuum cleaners are getting hacked, allowing hackers to gain full access to the machine's microphone, camera, and motion controls. One family's vacuum cleaner was hacked, and the hacker began shouting racist slurs through the microphone as they drove it around the house. All the hacked robot vacuum cleaners were Ecovacs Dbot X2s, which ABC News Australia had already exposed to have massive security flaws. In another home, a hacked vacuum cleaner chased the family dog around the house while shouting at it through the microphone. But at least these people knew they'd been hacked. It's much scarier for those who didn't. As you can see from the ABC Australia news report, the Ecovacs Dbot X2 has a very good camera, and you can clearly see a person's face or body.
Yo, imagine your vacuum thing running around the house yelling at your dog. If I saw that, I don't even know what I would do. I'd probably just start crying.
This will be the last photo taken of her before she was pushed off of that cliff. This is Jolie Nicole Callan, and she was born on December 29th of 1996. In 2014, Jolie was a senior at Vincent High School, and this is where she would meet Lauren Daniel Bunner, and this is the guy who would become her boyfriend, and they would date for about 10 months. Those who were close with Jolie noticed that there were tons of red flags in the relationship. Lauren was possessive and insecure, and it seemed like he only wanted Jolie to invest her time and energy into him and nobody else. As the relationship progressed, Lauren became more manipulative and controlling, and anytime Jolie tried to leave the relationship, he would do something dramatic to make her stay. For example, Lauren threatened to take his own life, and this scared Jolie, so she decided to give the relationship another chance. In 2015, Jolie graduated from high school, and this time she decided she was going to break off things for good. Despite Lauren's threats, cries, and pleas, Jolie stood her ground, and she was done this time. Lauren wasn't one to accept the breakup easily though, and it took him weeks until he could finally accept that they were never going to be together. Once it seemed that Lauren had finally accepted the breakup, he requested from Jolie that the two remain friends, and she happily agreed to that. On August 30th of 2015, Lauren asked Jolie if she wanted to go on a hike with him, and she agreed. The two had been broken up for about 2 months now, and Jolie texted a friend that she was going on a hiking trip, and it was going to be a symbolic friendship hike. During the outing, Lauren took a series of photos of Jolie and put it onto his Instagram page. The first photo taken of Jolie was her in the passenger side with their dog on her lap, and it was captioned, "On our way to go hiking." The final 2 photos of Jolie would be her on top of the mountain overlooking the view. As Jolie was admiring this view, Lauren took out a gun and shot her twice in the head. He then threw her off this 50-foot cliff, and just seconds before, Jolie was admiring this view, not knowing what her fate was going to be. After leaving the state park, Lauren called 911 and gave a full confession. Jolie had been shot in the back of the head and between the eyes. Lauren was waiting on the side of the road for police to arrive. He was covered in Jolie's blood, and he was quickly arrested and charged with her murder. Just a couple of weeks later, Lauren posted bond and was released from jail. Trial began in November of 2015, and Lauren pled not guilty. Lauren's lawyers argued that he was autistic, and since he was not 21 years of age yet, he did not have to serve more than 3 years in prison despite the seriousness of the crime. Jolie's family got someone in the local press to petition for Lauren's status, and in December of that year, the status was revoked and the case was back in court. On July 13th of 2017, Lauren pled guilty, and he was sentenced to 52 years in prison and was tried as an adult. Lauren will also be eligible for parole in 15 years.
If a relationship ever ends and someone's like, yeah, if you leave me, I'm gonna hurt myself. Run. I guess they're trying to say that's how the pyramids were built. I don't know, maybe, but I don't think so.
This is all the news you're not going to see on TV today, but it's going to be simplified in 60 seconds. Mars has now officially been declared unsafe for humans to live, as scientists explained why it never worked. These scientists found that the human exposure to radiation threats, including particle radiation from the sun, distant stars, and galaxies, would actually exceed the safe levels after 4 years on the planet. So they're saying that it is possible for humans to go to Mars, but it's not possible to live on Mars very securely in the long term. This is the real reason as to why one AirPod always dies faster than the other. Basically, you can cause an uneven degradation of your AirPod batteries if you only use one at a time. Like if you're walking around on the phone and you only have one in and you very commonly only use the same one, it'll cause that one to die quicker. The only real way to fix this issue is make sure you use your left and right AirPod evenly, even if you don't use them at the same time. Target is now announcing that they're going to start reducing the prices on more than 2,000 different items for the holidays, and they're hoping to be able to help families during Christmas. I don't know why that matters, because Louis Vuitton just unveiled this $60,000 dog kennel, and in this economy, I mean, this is the perfect gift. Just in case there is anybody interested in this, it's obviously really affordable. This is what it looks like. The state of Hawaii is now getting $9.1 million in funding to protect and restore their forests, which is obviously some really good news we needed to hear today. I give you these news roundups every day, so make sure you add me and come back to me tomorrow.
Chucky, no! No! Chucky, please, no! No, Chucky! Please! No!
I'm not gonna lie, that was one of the most creative Halloween costumes I've ever seen. Like at first I was like, then I realized it was the dog's hand. Yo, that was hilarious.
This has got to be one of the most horrendous things I've seen in a while. As many of us already know, 7 years ago, this man, Mark, took in a baby squirrel after his mother was hit by a car. He cared for that squirrel, who he named Peanut, and when he was old enough to be let go safely, he did. But instead of running away, Peanut turned up on his porch the very next morning with a chunk missing from his tail. Mark started documenting his journey with Peanut, and after his videos went mega viral, it is safe to say that Peanut became one of the most beloved and famous squirrels on Earth. But then, 7 years on, the DEC released a statement saying that an investigation had been launched after receiving multiple anonymous reports from the public about potentially unsafe housing of wildlife that could carry rabies and the illegal keeping of wildlife as pets. Mark said that on Wednesday, 10 to 12 DEC agents turned up at his door, raided his house while they sat him outside for 5 hours, and they even gave him a police escort when he wanted to use his own bathroom. They not only seized Peanut, but they also took Fred, the raccoon, who he was also looking after. But then things got a whole lot worse. They found out days later that Peanut had bit one of the staff, and because testing for rabies requires that the animal be euthanized, both Fred and Peanut were killed. Now, as you'd imagine, hearing that, the anger and fury online has been relentless, and Mark and his wife have said they are now in the process of taking legal action against the county.
Dang, they really killed bro's animals. I would be so mad, but at the same time, they did have to test them for rabies. But like, I don't know. I feel like they could have went about it in a different way. That's just a sad ending to that, man.
Thank you all for watching.